Hey folks, today we've got a little bit of Black Panther news, a little bit of Thor news, a little Iron Fist news, but we have pictures of Shocker. Nothing else matters in the world. This is Marvel Movie News!
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Marvel Movie News.
Excelsior to you, my merry Marvelites. The only thing that matters in the world today is that Shocker is not only confirmed, but there are pictures, and I'm the happiest, but I can't talk about it yet because I have to save my zeal. So to start the show, we are coming to you live from Midtown High to celebrate the excitement of Spider-Man. So you can subscribe to us on Marvel Movie News on YouTube/Popcorn Talk Network. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook. Matt Key does the spiel better. I can't hide my excitement. The Shocker is going to be talked about today. But first, I have to introduce my guest, one of which is the biggest Shocker fan I know in the world. He's legit. He wrote a script about it. He's dressed as the Shocker. My buddy Max Landis.
Thank you, Coy. It's a 456-page fan fiction.
It's a thing of art.
Nice.
It's a novel. I don't know what's wrong with me.
It's, it's out there in the world.
I feel like it's a diagnostic criteria for something. It's
What does this mean about a man?
What does this mean that I did this? I adore that character so much.
He's so specific.
I love what he represents.
And we're going to dive into that
We'll get into
deep.
that later.
Yeah, we got to
Okay.
power through some news. And
I love
back with
that
this,
passion.
always appreciated, is Markia.
Y'all can follow me on Twitter at Markia McCarty, MarkeiaMcCarty. I'm just really enjoying the fact that Koi's so #clappy happy.
Oh, you have no
right
idea.
now.
Like, you should have seen us last night just going.
Just
like,
going
the
on
idea those
Shocker.
pictures exist made, like... I thought it was a little superhero fatigue until that picture happened, and I was like, oh, this is what it feels like to be a child.
Yeah,
like,
this is the first time I've been really excited for a Marvel movie.
Oh wow.
It's that big a thing.
I'm always like, okay, a Marvel movie, and they're like, fun. But like, this is the first time I like saw an on-set picture, and I was like, are there any higher quality on-set images of Shocker? And I got too excited, and then I heard that the other villain is Vulture and the Tinkerer, and I'm like,
they're going for it.
they're going for it.
Full tilt.
They're doing a Spider-Man movie.
And the fact, yeah,
the
once
two
again,
got me excited.
it's working. We flanked you. We were like on the ends, like, trust us, Shocker's here.
Oh, I can't wait for the Shocker conversation.
Doom
now.
demands you get on topic, Corey.
Sorry, there's such a zeal. Okay, we'll start it out. We're going to talk about X-Men. This isn't really news, but I thought it was really cool. A lot of times going into pre-production, you have a lot of actors cast in roles they don't end up playing, and a lot of times they make concept art about those actors in these roles. This picture, which we found this week, not only has Elle Fanning as Phoenix, but it actually shows the full 90s Jim Lee costume on Elle Fanning. How cool is this? Like, we actually almost had not only Elle Fanning, but we almost had a Phoenix costume. We almost had Jean Grey as we knew her in the 90s.
Yeah.
And I love this image. Like, it's full tilt comic. It's crazy. It doesn't look like real life. I never saw Elle Fanning as Phoenix. I still don't really, but I love this image. It's a cool little man-up.
Yeah, well, I didn't see what's her name, Sophie Turner.
Sophie Turner, yeah.
Sophie Turner. I didn't see her as being Phoenix until she was actually being Jean Grey until she actually was.
Not to throw shade, but I still don't. But I just don't see.
I like that they were taking a lot of Game of Thrones characters and putting them into. the
Yeah,
Marvel
I mean, I love it. I
universe.
respect the heck out of that
Yeah.
show. I still feel like they didn't quite embrace the characters I know as the X-Men yet.
Oh.
Can I be me for a second?
By all means.
Okay.
This image is cool, but for me, it typifies everything that's wrong with the process of making these movies. That's a 90s costume. Movie took place in the 80s. That we saw.
Right.
Yeah.
with a
that's true.
different actress. So that means at one point in the muddled development of this movie, we were in the 90s, and like
They got this far.
They got this far, and
see
so
what
it
you
just
mean.
shows how like weird the development process of these movies are, and how many random ideas come up and get thrown out. And like when you watch some of these movies, and you're like, this feels really muddled, or it doesn't feel like they really thought this through. It's because they didn't. They just ran out of time before Greenlight.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, here's the script we sort of have.
And that's what it felt like, and that's why I can't fully forgive. I've said 100 times, it's probably my catchphrase in the show, that Bryan Singer makes excellent mutant films, but he hasn't made a good X-Men film. And I'm really excited for the day we get an X-Men film, and I would love it to be the 90s, because that is the X-Men. A lot of us, our generation's X-Men.
Okay, but just saying, do you think like maybe it being Apocalypse is something that like kind of poisoned the well for you a bit?
I think having a movie that didn't know what it was yet poisoned the well.
Right.
There was no well to poison. It was a puddle of confusion.
Okay.
know, it just kind of manifested as many things, and that's not its fault necessarily, but we keep giving movies that don't know what they are yet money, so they'll keep making them.
Yeah, well, it's fascinating because Suicide Squad had a legendarily troubled development process. It was recut 4 times, just crossed $600 million worldwide.
300 domestic.
What did Warner Brothers learn? Suicide Squad's a good movie. So like as long as we did a good job.
Right.
So as long as these movies, as long as they turn in money, the process is going to stay the same. Actually, I think Apocalypse underperforming probably really helped the X-Men movies.
Yeah, because it gives us hope to learn to develop.
Ideally, it will give Fox like some sort of drive to like do a more specific vision. I mean, like you're so right, Coy, that it's just why is there no fucking, now that we have the effects to do it, there's the money in superhero movies to do it.
Right.
Why is there no movie of Beast, Gambit, Rogue, Cyclops, Wolverine, Jubilee,
The team we all want,
Angel,
love, and see the X-Men.
and fucking Jean Grey?
We've earned that, I think,
just
as a
going
society.
and fighting the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants.
Right, like
they're
we-
going to do a
That would
terrorist
be-
attack.
We've gotten to
That'd
the
be
point.
awesome.
Yeah.
Actually.
We're at a point in
like that
society
movie.
where when that Crossbones costume came out for this newest Crossbone costume, it's full comic. It's as comic as the Shocker we're going to talk about today. As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, society's ready. We, in 2015 at the time, have gotten to the point where we'll accept a man with giant blasters on his arms with a cross across his chest.
Wait,
as
hold on.
something.
Crossbones is still alive?
No, I'm saying when we saw those pictures. When
Oh,
we
okay.
first saw
Oh,
those
yeah,
images,
yeah.
I was like, oh, we did it. Society's ready for full comics.
Yes.
Like, we're there. So there's no reason 90s X-Men can't exist now.
Well, that was that wonderful thing where Crossbones died.
Right.
And
Something happened.
Well, it was like something happened.
Yeah.
So it's like something that couldn't happen in the comic happened.
And Captain America is the one series of movies where things happen.
Yeah, where stuff happens.
Like, when that, I think that's the flu in Marvel, is you've got one character that, like, event movie, real movie. Event movie, real movie.
Yeah.
And that's what's fascinating is Civil War was such a zeitgeist shift in what comic movies are that I think Marvel going forward can be as bold as they want with Doctor Strange, with Black Panther, and because Deadpool made all the money, now Fox can hopefully go, that's working, movie.
Well, no. Well, all Deadpool did is teach people that fart jokes are funny.
They're still funny.
Someone picked up a notepad and went, "Fart jokes are funny."
$1.2 billion.
If we say "clit," the audience will laugh.
100 times.
And so I worry. I'm sorry. I'm just playing with this little toy of
I
Karen.
know, that's why it's there. Karen's hanging out.
Karen's just fucking.
She's ready, always.
I want to text her this. This is what she's like in real life. Boom.
Apparently, you haven't really played with bobbleheads before.
They're great.
I've never played with them. I can't stop touching them. I'm sorry.
So I think that Fox going forward, hopefully the smaller budget, bigger story, bigger writer, the writers having more time. I want those movies to happen, and this is a good point. Like we maybe almost had the '90s. I'd like that to be where they go next. If it'll happen, who knows? But
I like the '90s. I like '90s X-Men.
Oh, yeah.
Was it
Jim Lee's run was
Uncanny?
just
Uncanny. All
Yeah,
my favorite
Uncanny.
stuff of X-Men is like 1992 to like 2006.
Yeah.
That's all my favorite, and that's all my favorite Batman stuff.
Well, Grant
too.
Morrison's run was that
Batman.
2002 to 2006, I think.
I think Grant Morrison was 2000, maybe. Yeah,
I like his new
the
X-Men
new
run.
X-Men. I
Yeah.
think that might be a little later.
His Crazy Quietly run.
Yeah, the fucking Crazy
the
Quietly.
Art Man, that was
Right,
intense.
Xavier's.
Just reading stuff. I'm like, everyone's so... Anyway.
But that for me was post. I'd fallen out of the X-Men by the time I came back.
He
in.
got me back.
Yeah.
He was the first guy that I'd left Jim Lee and Claremont. I came back with him, and then I filled in the dots in the middle.
See, I was in there reading like Trial of Gambit and like
Oh, yeah.
Onslaught. Like I really went for. I was a teenager.
I
just
want
loved
those
it.
movies.
Dude, I just want there to be character-based X-Men movies. I want Mr. Sinister to be the villain in next.
Oh my God! Yes.
Bryan Cranston wants
Yes.
it.
Yes.
Bryan
Cranston.
Cranston?
He's lobbying for
Wouldn't he
Mr.
be great?
Sinister.
He's not hot enough.
But he wants
No,
it.
but
And
he'd
I
be
love that-
fantastic.
I love that
He would
Bryan
be able to do the
Cranston's
gravitas of the character.
Obscure C-list villain. Like, I love that he's like, boop. So...
Actually, Clay, I don't think
want-
it's fair to call Mr. Sinister.
I want him to be a Telltale game where you don't even realize that you're the villain until you get to you cross the line over it. I want that to be for Mr.
Oh,
Sinister.
that's a fucking cool idea.
I like that a lot.
That would
into
be
it.
amazing.
Into it.
I
Now,
want that.
Doom would be mad at me if we didn't get to the subject before it's too late. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now, you guys just found out this fact that not only is...
What is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a show. Is that
Yeah.
Ghost Rider, who doesn't drive a motorcycle, will be appearing on this season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This Ghost Rider drives a hot roddish car in the streets of East LA, and his name is Robbie Reyes. And your thoughts?
Okay. So when we had the topic of it, it was like, oh, okay, great. We're going to talk about Ghost Rider going on Marvels of S.H.I.E.L.D. I was like, okay, great. Zach can take care of the Marvel and S.H.I.E.L.D. thing. But yeah, Ghost Rider, great. So it's going to be Johnny Blaze, or it's going to be Danny Ketch. Ketch. I can't pronounce people's names.
Danny Ketch.
Because you read it, you don't hear it.
I only
Ketch
read.
just sounds satanic.
It's true. It's got a flavor to it.
Yeah.
It's like, cool, we'll get, the Ghost of Vengeance and, whatever's going to happen with it. And then I get here today and Zach and Coy are like, oh, no, it's some new guy. And
it's Robbie Reyes, and we got our first look at him in costume this week.
Okay, do you have the...
So,
Ghost Rider's costume, a jacket.
Why is he wearing a motorcycle jacket when he drives a car?
You should be wearing a fucking wife beater.
I know a lot of questions. Doom's excited. Doom is our Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. guy. Why is he wearing a leather jacket in the car?
Well, I can't answer that. I mean, it doesn't mean he never rides a motorcycle at all, but his vehicle is the Hell Charger, which is a Dodge Charger that is infused with the Hell.
It's a Dodge Charger?
You know, he's real bold.
Please tell me it's a fucking 70s Charger.
He's
It isn't one of these new Chargers.
It is.
Okay,
we actually got our first footage. I believe it's a 1973 Dodge Charger.
All right. So this clip was released this week.
Yeah, we got this little quote-unquote leak from the streets.
Leak from the streets.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I'm drunk, I take a leak in the streets.
East LA.
Well, let's take a look.
You know the writer who made this up has never been past downtown.
Wait, it's starting.
Is that him?
What?
That's him.
That's got to be the worst viral footage I've ever seen.
Yeah, there's not a lot there.
Now, I don't typically insult things on the show because I like to be positive, but that, to me, was choosing the guy in The Dark Knight where he's like, no more dead cops, as the guy to do the only line of dialogue in the thing, right? Like, is that not weird to anybody else?
That literally looked like it was actually shot in East LA of nothing cool happening.
I just don't, I want to, and I'm sorry,
What
fans of
was
Agents of
that,
S.H.I.E.L.D.,
though?
I'd like to understand, and I don't get this being the direction they're going with Ghost Rider. I'm not insulting you or the show, I just don't get why they'd go this way.
Well,
it's not Ghost Rider.
The thing, fans of Johnny Blaze, at least, you can think about this means they don't. Johnny Blaze can still be done in the MCU.
Can I say something weird though?
Please.
So you guys know, I have a real weird relationship with diversity in what Marvel has been doing lately, which is, I think a lot of it is really shilly, and I hate that mainstream A-list heroes are replaced briefly with minority heroes, only to have the mainstream, white heroes return triumphantly.
Kind of like a 3-shell game.
Yeah,
It always ends with white guy. That's the show game's over.
Yeah, and it drives me crazy. The second you said they're calling her Iron Heart, I was like, okay, she's temporarily Iron Man. And then she'll be her own hero. He'll show up in Young Avengers, and it's like, don't do that to her. Let her just come in as Iron Heart. Anyway, so I was thinking about it, and this is going to be really weird. Why do I really like the idea of Ghost Rider as a Latino guy?
Yeah,
something about that
works.
It's really great. It works.
That really
it works
works.
to have it East LA. It works to have it be what was his name? Robbie Reyes. Robbie Reyes. That works. I even love the sound of it. Robbie Reyes works as a Ghost Rider character. I don't like them putting him in a car.
Why is he?
You don't have to go that far. It doesn't have to go that far.
That's
You don't
what
have to
bugs me
change
about it.
everything.
And smoking in your car is illegal in LA.
Yeah, and how old is he? Is he a minor? Because you can't have a minor in a car and you're smoking.
There's a lot. There's so much.
Imagine calling Uber and then the Ghost Rider pulls out. Hey,
He's got to make rent. You guys, like everybody else.
If ABC knows what's good for them, they'll call Uber or Lyft and start that promotion right now.
oh, that would be incredible.
I would.
They could.
Oh, imagine just Chargers driving around picking people up at a Comic-Con when they do that, where they hire theme cars.
Can I ask a question? This is just an unrelated question. In Marvel, who else has a car that they drive around?
Well, there's the Spider-Mobile that did so well that Dan
Spidey-mobile?
Slott decided to bring back recently. The Spider-Mobile came back because we live in a great time in comics.
No, because
There's a lot of jets. There's a lot of
jets and
motorcycles.
planes.
Well, because cool vehicles, you want these things cool. You don't want to feel mundane. Comics are to
Fury.
escape.
Because that's like a DC. No,
Nick
but
Fury?
not really. Like having a mobile is like a DC thing.
Yeah.
I guess the
yeah.
Fantastic Four have the Fantastic Car, but that's not a car.
Right, it's a flying craft.
Yeah, that's like
Right.
the bug, the Blue Beetles thing.
Yeah, it's very much not...
Maybe people in Marvel just needed a ride.
They just, he's the guy. He's the guy. I'm from New York. We have public transit. I'm in LA. Who do I call? Robbie Reyes. I'm in LA.
That's true, they're all from New York.
So they're trapped here in LA. They're like, we need a ride. We got a guy.
Oh, man.
We just solved the mystery of comics, you guys.
Dude, You just nailed it so hard that
the
all the
LA
Marvel people
problem.
are from New York.
So they
of
have
course
no
he needs a
vehicles.
car in LA.
Public transit.
Yeah.
Well,
You're the only one on a motorcycle in LA.
I'm the
Corey.
only one. I'm the only guy. So to Ghost Rider and to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited, just like on that photo, because I know I'm curious to see, like, because they gave him the look that he has down the line, where his head is more shaved. I'm curious if they're gonna give him his he has this weird blonde streak in his hair.
They
when he
just
first
go
starts
for it.
off. We still haven't seen his brother, who he takes care of his handicapped brother who's in a wheelchair and has autism.
Why is he in a wheelchair with autism? You'd have to be really low functioning.
That's the character. And Robbie Reyes is charged with taking care of him after his parents took off. That's sort of the.
Can you
part of the
imagine
journey
if
of
you
his
were
character.
autistic, how terrifying and confusing it would be to see your brother's head burst into flames?
Oh, wow.
Trying to describe
Either that or it
experience.
would make total sense to you. And you would wonder why everybody else did not have that happen.
Yeah, you don't react at all.
You're like,
Yeah.
why
It's
can't
like
I do that?
that's normal.
So moving on to briefly, there's not much to talk about, but Iron Fist had some set photos released. I think we can't tell anything that's going on, but we've always shown like Luke Cage's and Jessica Jones. Iron Fist is the show that I've heard the least about in pre-production. I've heard the least about in production. I actually have no idea this actor they cast. I know nothing about Iron Fist.
He is Loras Tyrell in Game of Thrones.
Right.
Oh, I love Loras Tyrell.
Yeah.
The Knight of
for
Flowers.
those-
Loras deserved better.
He did, now he's Iron Fist. Now he got
Yeah.
that.
He got the green fire turned him into Iron
He
Fist.
did it. So now he got hurt. He deserved better. And now
Danny
he's,
fucking ran.
so he's a great.
Yeah.
I like Iron Fist.
He was
the character.
Marjorie's brother from High Garden. For anybody who isn't as
I'm
rabid
so
about
in
this
love
show.
with Marjorie, and I'm
Isn't
just
she
still
amazing?
mourning her.
Oh man, she tried so hard. She did everything right that
She
she
was so
possibly
close.
could.
But yeah, there's an injured guy.
So this guy, the only pictures we have so far are him hurt. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of fighting on Iron Fist. We don't know much about it except for that it's going to be obviously a high martial arts themed show. The character is a lot of fun. I really like his dynamic with Luke Cage. Obviously, that's a big part of his character. We don't know anything about these pictures, but we wanted to show you them because that is our job to be like, hey, look, pictures.
That guy was
Yeah.
pointing at his injury.
You're hurt there.
You got hurt there.
Remember the pain.
My guess is though that this might be one of the sequences where he's either about to heal himself with chi, or he's in that in-between time where he's recharging, so he can't heal himself. So he's just stumbling around, maybe.
It also might be before he gets his
Yeah, I forgot. Iron Fist's healing thing, it doesn't always work.
and he runs out of juice like a battery. Like he's something like, oh no, I've run out.
I love it. What if there was a superhero who was powered by karma? And so he had to oh no, I've been shot. And give a homeless guy $10. I'm healed.
I've done it. Well, there's that one guy
Heals up.
There's a new Avenger that runs off of ancestry and old energy, so he can totally. Yeah, comics are really weird right now, but he can totally be the guy that has to figure his stuff out in the moment to get past regression stuff to solve his things. So yeah, there's not much going on with Iron Fist, but it's the first we've really seen, so we know they're filming. It's moving along. Now, last night we were talking about Thor 3, and you didn't realize that Taika Waititi is directing that craziness.
Yeah.
That footage is easily the craziest thing I've seen Marvel do, and that's saying a lot. That 20-minute short with Thor.
Is it 20 minutes? I thought it was 5 minutes.
Oh, I thought it was really long. It might only be
Wait,
5
It
minutes.
feels long because it's so good.
Wait,
The
which one?
pacing is brilliant.
Which one are you talking about? The one that we saw?
Daryl's office,
Oh, that's
yeah.
3 minutes
Well,
and 30 seconds.
in my brain I relished in it. Maybe I watched it 8 times. So
I
it's
was
20
having an
minutes in my
acid
brain.
flashback.
It's like, oh, this is so long.
You had it on loop or something.
I had a whole
going-
experience that short. Anyway, we have our first official image of their wardrobe, and it probably, the guy that took it's going to get in some trouble because they've been having guys walk around in cowls and hiding these costumes, and this dude posted it on Instagram, so it's probably not the best move in his part. But we see here that they're going full wonky wardrobe. We've got a shawl action happening on Odin. We've got a very, very cool Norse mythology garb on Thor, as is per usual, but it's definitely changed up a little more leather.
And this picture is a little bit dark, but I just want to draw your attention to the fact that there's a loincloth type of thing going on.
Oh, yeah, they
in
went
Thor's
for it.
area. Yeah, so
I'm concerned about this movie for the reason I'm concerned about all Marvel movies not directed by the Russos, which is I think it'll probably be really good, but once the action starts, they always hire these newer directors so they can have the on-brand Marvel action. Right. And we've been seeing the downside of that a little bit in Thor 2 and fucking a bunch of Ant-Man,
yeah,
where the action gets very non-distinct, and so when you have like a Taika Waititi who's never done action before in his life,
It's comedy, strong comedy, but
strong
comedy.
comedy.
That was a great short.
I think he's brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm worried that this movie, which is the like end of days, will have the same old action.
And it's also, they're going like road trip comedy. Like, it's a very different way to go with the story that's dark.
I'm pumped up.
I can't wait, because it's literally like, you tell me Ragnarok, I think one thing, and they're like, how much farther away can that one thing can we go?
Yeah.
Like, it's literally like, what if we have a bro movie with Hulk and Thor, sure, and then Jeff Goldblum's there? Why not? Like, they just keep throwing stuff.
Yeah,
And
talk
then
about stretching that dark comedy.
And then the short came out, and I was like, there's a bed for Mjolnir? Like, they literally, like, I was like,
wears
he's
sunglasses.
holding a little Thor. Yes, sign me up everywhere.
A tiny me.
It's a tiny me. Like,
Yeah.
everything about that had me just... maybe that's why it was 20 minutes, because I've relived it so many times. So I'm very excited. That's our first official image of the wardrobe. It looks like wardrobe, but I'm still really stoked. Moving on over to Doctor Strange. We have, again, a singular image, and this is just for Matt Key, because he's not here, and I didn't want him to think that when Matt Key's not here, Doctor Strange doesn't get mentioned. He mentions Deadpool when I'm not here. I'll bring up his boy, Doctor Strange. Doom, do we have a picture of the...
Yeah, I'm pulling it up.
Okay, excellent. Basically, this is our next Marvel film. Comes out in November. It's still beautifully mystic. We don't know a lot of what this movie pertains. Here's our latest official Doctor Strange image. First one we see him injured and fully garbed up. We've seen him in costume before. We haven't seen him post-battle. This tells us pretty much nothing, but it's still...
Maybe he's levitating.
It's just
Maybe
rad.
He's not.
It's just rad. This is like, once again, socially acceptable. We've got Benedict Cumberbatch in an actual cloak with an eye of Agamotto, and I'm like, that's a thing that exists.
Yeah, there you go.
Doesn't even seem weird anymore.
No, it doesn't even
No.
seem weird
Can you,
anymore.
in 2000, X-Men came out and they were in black leather costumes because everybody was like, that's too crazy.
If that movie
Right.
came out now, they would be in all yellow and blue.
That's what you'd think,
Yeah.
but then X-Men
Yeah.
just happened and they were like in that for 2 seconds.
Yeah, because that's
Different
not
studio
the
house, yeah.
brand, the branding.
But how crazy is it we have a socially acceptable full-on Doctor Strange? I'm
Wonderful.
so proud of like where we are as comic films. And then briefly, I wanted to mention that Deadpool, since it's, me hosting, Deadpool almost had a scene featuring the Raft. They once again, their script was so riddled with Marvel stuff, but they weren't officially Marvel. They tried to plant little eggs to tie it in. Literally, there was a scene where Ajax left the Raft, which would have tied it directly into Civil War.
That's
But I
crazy.
think the lawyers caught on and were like, but they fully had a Raft reference in a Fox property.
I actually would have liked that, because then that frustrates Deadpool's want even more for Francis, because it's like, oh, of course he couldn't find him. He
Because he was
at
in
the
an island
Raft.
prison.
Yeah.
But how cool is that? We almost had, like, that's so ballsy on their part to be like, you know what? We're going to call it the Raft.
Well, I mean, the fact that they snuck the helicarrier
Is
in
a third act set piece.
yeah, and you never really see it.
Fully.
You never really see
This
it.
weird
So it's
tilting
like,
hela.
yeah, well, they're on a
carrier?
thing.
Yeah.
Are
that
they on
looks
an
like
aircraft carrier?
So, but it's on the air.
It's on the ground.
It was really cool. It was real sneaky. Watching it the first time was fully incredulous. Like, how did they? Oh, they did. Oh, the
Yeah.
whole third fight. Like, all about it. So now our biggest story, the thing I've been rushing to get to because we had very low news week this week. These pictures of the Shocker are.
Whip
We're
'em out.
spipping everything else.
We talked Thor, we
Spider-Man,
talked. We'll
Hannibal
cycle
Buress.
back. It's all in Spider-Man. We're going
Got
to
it.
Spider-Man. This is full
All right.
Spider-Man.
Cool.
While we're talking Spider-Man, we want to
This
start
is
here.
all I care about. This is why I'm here. Oh my God, is that the new
right.
picture?
That's the new picture I was telling you about. Look at that. It is
It's
fully
so-
checkered.
It's so.
It is.
I'm so happy they didn't go with the ultimate costume.
No, they win. That's
Yeah.
Shocker.
For those of you that aren't actually watching this live right now, if you could see their two
It
faces
is-
while they are staring
But you have,
at this
like-
picture, it's like this look of wonder.
But
It's beautiful.
I've never seen paparazzi photos where I was more invested.
Yeah, I never look at like pre-production stuff because I'm just like it's movies. It's
it's
my
not a
job.
finished product. It's not
not
fair
a
to the
finished project.
product.
But nothing's ever got me excited before this. I don't know. I'm having a reaction that I wish I always. Oh, dude.
Right?
Yeah,
Right?
it's a fucking. It looks like Shocker.
That's a man working on Shocker wardrobe.
And by the way, the fact that it's Joaquin Woodbine, that he has that, I like hope he takes off the mask because his skin tone will look so beautiful with that yellow
with the
and
yellow
brown.
pop, yeah.
Oh my God.
It's gonna be that's a man working on Shocker wardrobe. That's still to me mind blowing. There's a man fixing Shocker's vest. I never thought I'd see that.
So now here's the two things I'm scared
look at
of.
the lineup of the bands. Look at the coloring and how they augmented it to modern from 70s.
It's
Look at the
gonna look
goggles.
so cool. So here's the two things I'm scared about. Number one, Tinker is in this movie. I really don't want Shocker to get his tech from Tinker.
Me either. I don't want it to be the Osborn thing where it's one guy
Where it's
supplying
one guy,
all
it's all
villains,
well, that's
everything.
no, you haven't been in these fucking rooms. I've dealt with so many meetings where it's like the audience will get confused if there's more than one bad guy. All of the bad technology has to come from one place so they understand.
Preferably one building. We'll call it Oscorp.
No, it's shit like that. You see it in every fucking movie. It all comes from the one source, and that causes everything bad because people are too stupid to understand. It's like Boba Fett was fucking getting Han for Jabba for fucking
And then
Jabba.
the clones were all Fets for some reason?
No,
Is that a thing,
they were
right?
all the clones were all like mini Fett's dad.
Because it has to be from one source.
But keep in mind, in the original Empire, there's just a bunch of bounty hunters with their own goals, and Vader uses them to get to his son.
Right.
And you could have two villains, and these days the fucking development process is so afraid of that Shocker is so important to me. Okay, so I'm just going to go on a little rant. Shocker is my favorite thing about the suspension of belief involved in comics because of the huge levels of narrative potential of any given character. So the Shocker, Herman Schultz, was a safecracker who, while in jail, devised gauntlets that flung vibrated air at such a level that it could blow through walls, because that was a method he'd been using to research cracking safes, then made a suit that would protect him from that, escaped prison using these things he built, and then became a criminal for hire who was not interested in being a supervillain, just wanted to be a criminal, had these incredible gauntlets. But it's that thing where it's a thing I always bring up with him, and I wrote in my giant fan fiction about it, which is that wait 9 years to get out of prison, patent that,
Make all the money you've ever
make
wanted.
$6 billion. And that's the truth of so many of Spider-Man's villains, is that they're brilliant people who are fundamentally flawed. And that's what drove me crazy about, there's, the Sinister Foes of Spider-Man, that comic.
Yeah.
Like, it drove me crazy because they portrayed Shocker as an idiot.
Right, and he's not.
He's
misguided.
He can't be an idiot. And so, to have, what gives me hope is that it's Bokeem Woodbine, who's such a soulful actor, who, can add such gravitas and meaning to, the smallest role, to the smallest look. That guy has look acting down. He has that fucking, who the fuck am I thinking of who's so good at it, too?
There's a lot.
From the 90s.
Start naming movies that they're in.
Fucking
Giovanni Ribisi has good look acting.
Giovanni Ribisi is incredible. I was going to say Dustin Hoffman.
Oh, yeah.
Where he can just do
Those two guys, Dustin Hoffman and Giovanni
similar
Ribisi, always
thing.
out for the same parts.
Yeah. Well, they are in different eras.
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't know who the new guy is of those guys. Maybe Miles Teller, but
We've had this conversation about actors today versus there's no new guys.
I don't know. The Shocker, to me, having the Shocker, first of all, making it a Brooklyn movie, having the villains be like Shocker and Vulture.
They committed to the New York flavor of the world. A fan made me this shirt about how much Spider-Man is New York. And
just fucking.
This embodies it all.
Awesome.
Max Heron.
Keeping it to the boroughs,
well
and
done.
just a kid in Queens. I just know. I pray. After seeing Cop Car, there's not going to be a big beam going into the sky.
There won't be gray minions that he's
There
fighting.
won't be gray minions to fight.
We've had enough with the portals in the sky.
It's going to be a
It even made
one-on-one.
Suicide Squad,
trash
which is
can
this year, even made fun of it. And that, I'm like, how do you make fun of something while doing it? That was a moment I was like, oh, they're going for
I
a
was
while.
very surprised when the sky beam showed up in Suicide Squad. I was like,
Because the trailers advertised the movie that was the one we wanted, and then the movie was like, what if Skybeam? We were like, okay, we're going there. Anyway, then we're not going to trash talk Suicide Squad. I want to embrace the fact that we live in a time where 90s Spider-Man animated series is being fleshed out, and there are wardrobe people working on it. That is literally, those are images of that costume come to life in a way I never thought we'd see. That is a side-by-side, it's just,
it's weird that just that image, I don't know how my brain works. It must be like a fucking Pavlov dog. That image makes me think this movie's going to be really good.
that image conjures up more nostalgia than most smells for me.
Yeah.
You know how smell just brings you back to childhood? This image makes me go, I remember when I was 7 reading that comic.
Yeah.
I remember when I was watching that show.
Shocker
this is...
broke Spider-Man's arm, dude.
Yeah, and he's a guy.
And he's just a guy.
He's the guy.
That's
to
fucking the best.
To go off of a Max's passionate rant, another angle with that, with having Bokeem playing Shocker, and how it is that he makes his was it vibro smashers? What's the term?
The gauntlets. The vibro gauntlets.
There's a where he calls them something.
The gauntlets.
I think it was
gauntlets. Okay.
Well, his gauntlets.
I call
when
them
he
all
makes
sorts.
those.
I make up all sorts of names for them in the fan
I think
fiction.
it was
I don't know if they have a canon
Smash
name.
or something like that. Well, in any case, with that, it is to me, for this world that has now been established, it is entirely plausible that Bokeem can make those in prison with, the materials that are on hand. In fact, when you watch some prison documentaries, I forget
it's
the ones.
insane, yeah.
It's insane what people, because humans are amazing. The
Especially
ingenuity of
trapped
humans are amazing.
We're an animal in a corner. We'll do what we can to get out, like any other animal. In our case, we can think outside of the range of normal. We have a different scope.
Yeah. The thing that I like with having Shocker definitely be the person that makes the equipment, besides, like him being an engineer and everything, I like the psychological aspect of it, where he couldn't wait.
Yeah.
That was an impossibility for him. He had to get out. And then that goes into like later on with his arc where he has those confidence issues, where he's,
terrible confidence issues.
where he has to go to therapy.
Yeah.
It's like, I like that Shocker. I want to see that kind of character in that
he's
world.
not a sociopath or a psychopath or
Exactly.
even
That's
that
what's
bad
beautiful.
of a person. Even his weapons don't kill you.
No.
And
no.
intentionally, he won't kill you.
He won't kill
There's that
you.
amazing run, the John Romita Jr. art, where Spider-Man's hanging off a wall, he has vertigo, and Shocker's the bad guy in the issue, and he's been blowing up this abandoned building, and the building's shaking, and it's Spider-Man about to be trapped by a building, and he has the opportunity to kill Spider-Man, but instead of that, he shoots right next to him and lets fate decide and just walks away, because he's not a murderer.
He's not a murderer.
But he's also trying to get away.
Yep.
So I love
Yeah.
that moment of, like, he has complete and total control, and he won't make a bad choice, but he also won't do the right thing. He just goes. And I'm like, that's a villain without being a silly supervillain.
I mean, literally,
Yeah.
can you think of another Spider-Man villain that primarily uses a non-lethal weapon?
Exactly. It's
I
amazing.
mean, just let him rob the bank. It's
Yeah.
cheaper. Just take the
yeah,
insurance.
it's fine. Just let him go.
Well,
I
I
like
just
that.
I
There's
hope-
actually more damage with
Yeah.
just fighting him instead
Yeah.
of just letting him
But that's
take
what I
it.
love about Spider-Man villains. Is Spider-Man villains, I mean, I've read more Spider-Man, so this is unfair to other comics, but like Sandman, he has a kid, he's just trying to take care of his
Yep.
kid.
Right.
Shocker, he's just misguided and he thinks he needs the money. He has to have the money.
He's a criminal.
Like,
Yeah.
these are guys that are
Damaged.
against their luck, and they're just as interesting as our hero.
Yes.
And I find that to be why Daredevil worked as a show, why Breaking Bad worked as a show, because the villain-hero line is blurred enough that you're invested and all involved, and if it's a gray minion, you're not, and you're never going to be, because there's no empathy for nothing. And
Yeah.
this has the potential to have us have empathy for everyone involved. The casting, which is my next topic, is so spot on that you're literally going to see a person, you'll reference them in your brain to another movie you've seen them in, and they're so good at like the face acting, you're there.
Yeah.
Like they got the kid from Beast of No Nation as a student in this film. Beast of No Nation, we saw an Abraham Atta grow 10 years in one movie. The kid was an innocent boy and then a war-hardened, like, it's seen the world.
Yeah.
That kid is a student, I'm already like, whatever he does, I'm in. Like, that casting, which is my next topic, Hannibal Buress is the gym coach in this
Yeah.
movie. And Hannibal Buress has the ability to come in and do like a Seth Rogen-y laugh. He has such a uniqueness like Seth Rogen does that you're like, I know everything I need to know about this character just by
Just
casting.
him reacting to Peter suddenly being way better in gym class is already
Already
a funny
exciting.
scene.
It's
Yeah.
already great.
Yeah,
No, it
it's
is.
it's incredible.
Like
It's
John
a-
Hughes' comedy is just in this casting.
It's a great. It just seems like it's put together so well already.
Man, I have a lot of faith in this particular picture.
God, I hope it
to do
doesn't
the-
suck because
to
then I
do
have
the
to tweet
nuances.
about it.
I have faith that they're gonna hit those nuances. I mean,
Yeah.
Bokeem's not just gonna be a dumb criminal that gets his equipment from this smarter,
yeah.
younger, able-bodied tinkerer. But actually, we don't know if he's able-bodied. So I'm not
Also,
even
by
gonna
the
say
way, the fact that they cast Bokeem Woodbine to me says it's not. He's not going to be just some. He's not going to be Paul Giamatti in
Right.
Amazing
Oh,
Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like the fact that they cast Bokeem Woodbine says they want this character to have depth, and that it's just so exciting to me.
Yeah,
I
like-
really did
I-
write a 451-page shocker.
You know what? I have no doubt about that.
You can find it online. It's called The Shocker Legit. Just
Just
Google
Google
it.
Shocker Legit. It's right at the
Google
top.
the Shocker Legit.
It's warning. He is not a nice person, and it's told from his perspective.
I think that the way they're assembling not only the villains, the way they're shaping the movie, the way they're tonally shaping the movie, and the casting, this has the potential to be easily our best superhero movie.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the 20 minutes we got with Tom Holland in a movie that was brilliant. He stole the show in a brilliant movie with an established world of characters. You don't go into a movie with like Ocean's 11 and care about the new person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we were invested in the new guy. Nobody knew Tom Holland that well. He'd done 3 movies, mostly like Oscar indies. And then he does this superhero film and you're like, oh, I want to know more about him.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So to have a whole movie about that and then add this cast and have the Shocker?
I mean,
Exactly, like with Black Panther, Civil War
Oh my
was
God,
just,
yeah.
it was amazing.
Black
It was
Panther
amazing.
also brilliant.
Oh my God, I can't wait. I can't wait 2018.
Black Panther and Spider-Man, to me, are the two that could dethrone Civil War as the best Marvel movie.
Agreed.
And
is a possibility.
Spider-Man, maybe even Black Panther, are starting to look like maybe just the better amongst the best superhero movies.
I agree.
I have nothing bad to say about that. I love that statement.
I've seen bad stuff happen to better setups. I just get so nervous. But it's crazy that Marvel has this giant slate and now has 3 movies that I'm excited to go
Right?
pay money for. They didn't have that 3 years ago.
And the fact
I was
that
sick
That's
of it.
very true.
we have
That's very
3
true.
movies that in my opinion, are the first that maybe they'll take credibly for like awards and things. Like we're casting actors that are like these are accolades. Like Black Panther might be our first like Oscar nominated, but beyond like special effects film because of the way they're assembling it. Spider-Man has the
Right.
potential to be more than Spider-Man. The coolest thing about seeing Spider-Man in Civil War was seeing kids get their Spider-Man.
Yeah.
This is a new generation. This is kids going like, oh, I get my big brother's obsession. Or I get my dad loving Spider-Man. We're getting to see a new generation grow and turn into comic fans because we have a 14-year-old hero that's for 14-year-olds. And they're making it a good movie. They don't have to, but they are. So speaking of Civil War.
Actually, they do have to, Coy. This summer is really failing box office for
Since
a lot of
2004,
superhero
right? It was the worst since 2004.
Yeah,
something they said.
I mean, they've got to start turning in something different or they're in deep shit.
Or movies are over.
Yeah.
Like movies could be over because TV's doing so well that there's competition now.
Superhero movies killed movies. It ended everything. So it's funny to talk about them, be excited for them, and know that they're slotting other movies that we're not going to get an Inner Space or an E.T.
But we did get a Hell or High Water. I think it's cyclical. I think there's hope.
Yeah, but Hell or High Water didn't make like enough money, and no one talked about it. I feel like I only heard about it because you posted about it.
I'm really excited about that
I was in
movie.
Canada. I was like, maybe I'll just go see Hell and High Water, and I went and saw it, and I was like, oh, this is a very good movie.
They still make these?
Yeah, it was very weird.
I'll put it on the list.
It's brilliant. On the Civil War, Ben Foster, on the Civil War tangent, we found this amazing clip that showed that not only was Spider-Man not just CGI, but it was in fact Tom Holland killing it on set. And I wanted to show these guys, they haven't seen it yet. It's just really freaking cool. Look at that costume in person.
Ain't shady, baby, I'm hot.
Like that's a Ditko suit.
Oh, I hate seeing all the green.
It's weird, right? And that's him fighting, like it's him up on the rafters.
Yeah. This is so cool. Look at them painting it on.
Full movie magic. That is beautiful to me. Look at that! I've never seen a suit look more like what I imagined as a kid a suit
It's
would look
crazy
like.
to see him in it and have it look like that.
And to know there's a Tom Holland in there.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy when he takes off his mask. And it's
And
like, oh, that's him.
Seeing him actually do the fighting instead of just knowing. Like, I love the fact that I don't know, this clip made me really happy as a kid and an adult.
This is so cool. It's so crazy what movies even look like now.
This is what $200 million plus Spider-Man looks like, you know?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, that to me is everything I always dreamt Spider-Man would be. And that's a minute, you know? Like,
It's
that's
crazy to
just so
see
surreal.
him in the costume and have it look like it's from a comic book.
Right? Like, to see a 3D representation and have him take the mask off and be like, oh, wait, Tom Holland's a person, not Peter Parker. Like, there's a separation in my brain. I'm like, whoa.
Well, also just the fact that the mask can fit that way. The
Right?
fact that
Yeah.
that took so long.
The
Yeah,
costume
that can
design.
actually be
Whoever
really
designed that costume is all the accolades because it looks like his muscularity.
Well, it's
the
a special-
mask,
it's a
It looks
special
like it's
effect.
attached to the shirt, like he just has to.
right? Like, how does that go on? Like, it's so beautiful. And then,
No
like you said, the
creases.
painting.
myself tonight.
Exactly. That's how I feel about it. I love that clip because it was Spider-Man, and we're there. We did it. And if they keep making them the way Spider-Man and Black Panther are shaping up, the bubble doesn't have to burst. As long as we can have other movies too, like I was saying.
I think the bubble's gonna burst, but it's just gonna have better movies while it bursts.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which is exciting.
Yeah, we at least deserve that.
Yeah.
And also, the weirdest news this week for me was that it was confirmed that Jon Favreau is back as Happy Hogan in Spider-Man.
Oh,
Which is so
because of
fun.
they're crossing over that deeply.
Stark, yeah.
Yeah.
But we didn't even have
we get
Happy
Happy
Hogan in the
back.
Avengers movies and stuff. You know what I mean? So it's cool
Oh,
to
so
have.
they're like, oh, Iron Man.
Like deep cuts, they're going. So I'm excited because I love Jon Favreau. I think he's one
I
of
won't
the.
I won't be happy till Sam Rockwell's back.
Oh man, I love Sam Rockwell.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that like we haven't had that deep of a cut, and the fact that Marvel's investing so much, they're putting in a side character from a side movie that hasn't been, you know what I mean? It's been a while, and I think Jon Favreau is an underappreciated like forefather of the Marvel universe. Iron Man 1 was the boldest of moves.
He is the forefather. of
Right,
Marvel.
he's the guy
Yeah.
that made it possible, and Joss Whedon deserves all the credit he gets. But I also think that Jon Favreau is like it's the billion-dollar industry, and this man started it.
Does Joss Whedon get credit?
Joss Whedon's like the Avengers, so he made it. He assembled it. You know what I mean?
I mean, he's a director for hire for Marvel. I mean, Jon Favreau should get. I like Joss. Avengers is fun, but like, I mean, Jon Favreau should get everything.
I want Jon Favreau's name to be in every
there's
conversation.
Without Iron Man, the superhero boom doesn't start, right?
I understand, but there's enough accolades for everybody. I mean,
No,
Avengers
I only have one accolade.
only for
Who do I
two.
give
I don't know
this
where you're getting all
accolade to?
your accolades.
Just find him around. But I think Jon Favreau really, I'm glad he's getting to have his face, and like he gets to be back in the Marvel Universe, because he doesn't want to direct the movies anymore. He's doing great things like Jungle Book.
I love Jungle Book.
So good. He's a brilliant
It was
director.
really good.
I'm glad he's back, at least in the Marvel Universe. I'm glad he's in Spider-Man, because it's shaping up to
I
be
like the
quite
live
the thing.
action with the CGI mix. It was so well balanced.
Yeah, it was amazing. And we have one more picture from Spider-Man while on Spider-Man. Tom Holland's Instagram released this super late 80s, almost Daredevil flavored Spider-Man that looks like a panel from a comic that made it look like this. That is so stylized, and like how you remember Spider-Man. That looks like a cover of a comic in the late 80s.
That's the same alley he walked away with when he put his Spider-Man
Yeah, there's
suit
a garbage
in the
can in the
dumpster.
bottom right corner that he just left his... That's Spider-Man No More as a picture.
And the picture's a little bit dark, but if you can lighten it when you watch this at home or whatever, if the both of you have seen it, if you look closely, it kind of looks like he doesn't have his hood on there. Like he doesn't have the mask on.
Which is, I mean, it's another one of those Spider-Man... It's not Spider-Man No More, but it's that moment. It's a nod. It's a great little, like, flavor piece, and it makes me happy.
It's interesting that they're not doing Gwen.
Yeah. Because I feel like Emma Watson was just so good recently.
She
Like,
wasn't good. Whatever.
but the love between Andrew Garfield and her was real in real life so much that it translated on screen. I think that's the correlation they're trying to separate from.
It's interesting that are they not doing Harry either?
Apparently, a lot of the kid castmates are all people that grow up into these big characters. Like, Ned Leeds is in this movie.
The Hobgoblin?
Ned frickin' Leeds is a student in this school.
Wait, he's a kid?
Yeah. Deep cuts. They're going like...
They're going
stuff,
Smallville with it.
Yeah, some of the stuff I'm reading, I didn't...
Ned Leeds being a little kid is more Gotham than Smallville, but...
But it's an interesting plant
never
seed,
seen
right?
Gotham.
Like, Hobgoblin is like...
Heard weird things about Gotham. I haven't watched
Yeah, I'm not a
Gotham
Gotham.
is so silly. Gotham is like, what's your name? Oh, I'm new to town. My name is Jonathan Mr. Freeze.
Looks at camera.
it's like, oh, we bringing in a new criminal. What's his name? Miguel Jokar, and he has a skin design. It's ridiculous. There was this character. They did Riddler as a forensic scientist, and he was just like literally acting like a goofy cartoon version of the Riddler. Like, riddle me this for like 2 seasons, and then he turned bad, and everyone was like,
Great Scott.
Edward Nygma was the Riddler. and it also makes every villain like 12 to 15 years older than Batman.
Really weird.
Oh, okay.
And they just aged up Poison Ivy. Like it's
Did they?
She was a
I know
kid,
that.
and
Didn't
then
they
made
name her Ivy?
They
named it's like a little girl shows up and she's like, "What's your name?" Poison Ivy. It's like Gotham.
Okay.
Gotham is so silly and weird.
At least Ned Leeds as a kid. Like I'm okay with the planting that way. And even if they never use Hobgoblin, it's cool that we know Ned Leeds is there.
Ned Leeds as a kid is like, what?
Yeah.
It's confusing and interesting.
It means they read a lot of comics. That's what excites me. Is like those are cuts from the '90s that haven't been referenced.
Well, do you
in
remember
any-
how Ned Leeds started?
He was a reporter.
He was
right?
a dickhole reporter.
That was Betty's. Guy.
Dude, and then he wanted more stories, and he was always like pissed off that Peter was like doing good. He was like a handsome.
Peter was the hot shot, and he liked Betty, and he was like, "But Betty's with Ned," and then he was always pouting about Ned, and then it turns out Ned's like actually the worst guy.
Criminal,
It was this cool paranoia, like I bet Ned's not so bad. Like it was this cool way to have that like commentary on boyfriends.
I wish they'd just do a fucking Spider-Man movie. Just one. Where Harry is just nice and good friend to Peter, and Norman Osborn is just a nice, good pseudo-father figure mentor, just for a full movie.
Just earn the Osborn legacy.
Just earn it. Just
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
That's literally the point. Because Harry ODs in one of the most powerful issues of comics, period.
Yeah,
And
Harry's never even really the Green Goblin.
Harry's only the faux Green Goblin because he's trying to impress his dad.
Because he's
and,
like freaking out.
and he's a drug addict. So this amazing issue where like, not only does Harry have to deal with being ODing on drugs, he saves everyone while being the guy that
From the
put them in
explosion.
danger.
Yeah.
He planted bombs and then dies saving them, and that's the character. We haven't had that Harry Osborn.
Well, we haven't even had
That Spider-Man.
hey, MJ, let's go for a date. I'm Harry Osborn. I'm Harry's nice, rich friend who has a lot of self-loathing because my dad loves Peter Parker more than he loves me. We haven't even gotten
There's
that.
a lot of that, and now we can now. I want this series to be Boyhood with Spider-Man. I want
how
Harry
cool
Potter
would it be
out of
if in the
this.
second movie Osborn shows up and it's like Tom Hanks? And
Yeah,
he's just,
oh my God.
And he's just like the man.
The
and
coolest
so
guy in
nice.
the world.
Yeah,
Because
and
we've
then,
seen Tom Hanks go dark, and
Yeah.
he'd be great at it.
Well,
Oh,
but
I
then-
love that
then
guy.
when
He's
you
good
see-
at it. He's got levels.
when
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe shows up, it's like, okay, he looked like the Green Goblin.
You're some sort of bad guy. You're a bad guy.
Man, he had that like it was like schizophrenia. He had just had that down, like that
Yeah.
split disorder.
Yeah, but he already looks like this.
Yeah.
Well,
His face looks like
Willem
the
Dafoe.
Goblin mask. It's very impressive casting. But
Have you ever seen the animatronic Goblin mask they were going to use?
it's beautiful.
It's so great.
It's like literally the Green Goblin, yellow eyes, full, and it was animatic, so it like smiled and snarled and moved, and it looked beautiful. And it had the cowl
and then they replaced it with that fucking Power
with the
Rangers.
Power Rangers ski. It looked like Olympic skiing to me. You know those costumes you wear when you like go downhill skiing?
Yeah. Well, it's weird because the Green Goblin is like, it's Batman if Batman was the Joker.
Yeah.
Norman Osborn is Bruce Wayne if he was evil. He has all the gadgets, he has all the
Right.
stuff,
Okay.
he has all the skills, he has all the fucking intelligence.
Right, I never saw him that way.
But he's a fucking psychopath. That's
Right.
what Marvel did
interesting
with
way.
Batman.
Right, and that's beautiful. I never would have parallel, and that's why Spider-Man's villains once again are so interesting because they're so fleshed out.
They're so cool.
They're
Any of them
fun.
could have their own comic.
Exactly, and
Yep.
that's why they do a lot, and that's why the comic sells because you need to care about Spider-Man just as much going into it. And Doom killing it in the booth after this Jack in the Box commercial because we live in commercial society.
Is there a Jack in the Box commercial playing on the stream right now?
Well, it's
he found the Green Goblin thing to
Yeah.
show.
No one can see that except you.
Yeah, that's just
this
for
is
us.
just us.
Once it goes big,
I was like,
What a weird
So,
plug for
so
us.
stop sponsoring
in the
them.
middle of the show, we put
have
commercials.
some Jack in the Box.
That's our thing.
oh, look, we're gonna see it. I love this mask
Check
so much.
this. Oh my god, it's beautiful.
They were actually gonna do this, and then they didn't, and I hate them so much for it. Wait till it starts moving.
That's Alex Ross painting come to life. That literally looks like Alex Ross's Green Goblin.
yeah, there it is.
That is beautiful.
Oh God, imagine
Look at that
that in
ear
a Sam Raimi
definition.
movie.
We were so
yeah.
close.
Watch it move.
Look at it.
Oh,
It's
Fuck! Why isn't this in the
alive.
movie?
It's
What
alive.
executive was like, this looks? There's Sam wearing it.
Which is also awesome.
fucking. Oh,
I'm loving the ears.
Look at that. Look at it smile.
what's wrong, Peter? Don't tell Harry. Look at it. Why wasn't this in the
It's
fucking movie?
genuinely scary and
It's-
also empathetic, which is everything the Goblin needs to be. That's a guy you can have a conversation with and be terrified of. That's
Well, he's like a Shakespearean. There's something wonderfully Shakespearean and classical about it.
right. It's a true mask. Like it's oh my god.
shit! He's so great. I'm so glad that you guys found this video so quickly.
Yeah, so that's
Nice.
that's what I
That's
want the
Doom.
new. That's
Doom
what
is the man.
Doom killing it in the booth. We got to wrap up, so I want to give some quick shout outs on Twitter. You guys are amazing. I didn't get to do any last week. I can't do them all this week. I'm sorry, but John J. Roble, it would have been your mom's 55th B-day, and she passed away 2 weeks ago. Happy birthday to your mom. I know how hard that is. Happy birthday to her. Jack Fern, Logan Wilson 93. It's your birthday Saturday. Happy birthday. Maxeron, thank you for sending me that Shocker pictures first. You got me, like, I was the most excited I've been in a long time. I'm going to do a lot more Twitter shout outs next week. I just wanted to get to those that I got today. This has been a very zealous show of appreciating Shocker and love. And I'm so glad.
Was I too negative for this show?
No.
Okay,
Yeah,
good. Because I'm
impassioned.
very excited about
It's
these
a very
movies.
it's a positive thing, and we have a positive corner of the internet, and I love that comic fans still have a place for positivity, and you guys are all amazing. I've been Coy Jandro at Coy Jandro.
I'm Markia McCarty at Twitter and Instagram, MarkeiaMcCarty. We can also talk wrestling, Sailor Moon Crystal. I've got a lot of fans.
You a wrestling person?
I don't wrestle in person, but I'm on AfterBuzz TV here for
She's the wrestling host.
Raw. Yeah.
Invite me around sometime.
If there's
Oh,
a-
that's right.
That's his
oh,
whole
that's
world.
Right. Not
I'm
only,
the wrestling's a wrestling guy.
Right.
He loves it as much as he loves comics.
I was like, why is his name so familiar?
Yeah, when I said Max Landis, you were like, I'm Max Landis. You can follow me on Twitter at Up to My Knees and at YouTube where I post bad videos, also at Up to My Knees. And Channel Zero comes out on Sci-Fi Channel on September 22nd
Oh, that's
or
soon,
27th.
man.
Yeah, it's real soon.
Oh, it's exciting.
My first TV show, and then Dirk Gently in August. So
Killing it.
please
Dude,
keep up.
thank you guys so much. This
Thank
is the
you,
Marvel
Coy.
Movie News. Absolutely, man. And I'll see you guys next week.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, Kristian Harloff, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only, and not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.
All right, hey. All right, good job, guys. Let's just not come in tomorrow. Let's just take a day.